Friends, there is a world where people are craving for every drop of water. They are forced to do their daily work without water. How will they do it because they are not even getting enough water to drink? But as always happens, no matter what the rich have in the world, no matter what kind of trouble they face, they do not face any problem. Same thing happens here too. Friends, big private companies have installed machines to extract water from underground. Because there are still some places where water comes from underground, water can be extracted, and whatever water comes out from those lands is supplied to the cities, where rich people live but poor people are forced to live in poor villages. Among those poor people, the Holmes family also lives. Friends, in which the father Ernest's mother, Catherine, elder daughter Mary and younger son Jerome, included this family with great difficulty to survive in the village. Ernest also had a huge land in which his father used to do farming, but due to lack of water, Ernest could not do farming. He also talked to the government that his land is still fertile, that is, if water is available, crops can be grown on it. But no one trusts Nest's words, so Nest tries to dig the land himself. Who knows, maybe his luck will be good. He will get water, which will make his field green again, and by selling the crop, he will be able to fulfill the water shortage for his family. Friends, it is a matter of one day that, in Ernest's field, where he had to draw water, two thieves come there who had come to steal that machine. Ernest immediately reaches there with a gun, and as soon as the thieves come to know that Ernest has come here, they start pretending that they are so. We have come from a long distance. If we had got some water, it would have been your kindness. But, friends, that's why those thieves, seeing the opportunity, took out the gun kept with them so that they could shoot the Nest. But the Nest had to deal with such thieves on a daily basis, so they immediately killed them. Even before the shot, he fires the gun and kills them on the spot. See, friends, the situation has become such that people are bent upon killing each other for the sake of water. Ernest comes to check his machine, but the poor guy realizes that the little water that used to come out from here has also ended, which means that now he will have to dig a pit at another place and install a machine so that the water can be taken out from there. Nest up goes to Waterman with Jerome. Friends, Waterman, there is a group of people who work for a private company to install big machines so that water can be extracted from inside, and this water is supplied in the city. Similarly, Anon works to deliver liquor or food items to the people. He brings all the things from the city loaded on his donkey and gives them to these watermen. The same Waterman also includes a man named Max, with whom Ernest gets to know him a little better. Ernest tells Max to look, brother, you have started the work of installing a big machine here. My farm is a little distance away from here, which used to get water, but because of your installation of that big machine, the little water that my farm used to get has now also stopped. You can't take your line of these big machines to another place. Max says that it is not my job. If you want to talk, then you can go to our boss and do it. Ernst knows that the boss is not going to listen to him. So that poor guy goes out with his little mouth to come home with Jerome. But when a person's luck is bad, it doesn't take time for bad things to happen to him. The same happens with Ernest. While coming, his donkey's foot gets injured. Due to hitting a stone, he falls down, and due to the fall, one of his legs is broken. The poor donkey was earlier troubled by thirst. Breaking his leg causes him more pain. So, to end his suffering, Ernest is forced to kill him there. Friends, what does the poor guy do? After this, he comes to an auction house where old robots are repaired and sold. Ernest had come to buy one such robot so that in future, he is able to handle the delivery work, and at the auction, a guy named Phelim also comes to bid on the robot. But in the end, Ernest gets the robot, and Ernest and Jerome are very happy that at least they have got something useful. After this, both of them come to the hospital where Catherine lives. Some time ago, Catherine was a victim of an accident, hence she is unable to walk. Hence Catherine is kept in the hospital through wires, meaning wires which help Catherine to walk. Now see, Ernest does not have enough money to buy a wire system and bring it home. So he and his family members visit Catherine in the hospital itself. Now outside the hospital, Ernest meets a man named Bobby. Joe is a good friend of Ernest and is very close to him. He doesn't even have a house to live in. He is also mentally weak, so Ernest gives whatever little water he has to Robbie and his family, because even though Ernest is also short of water, but the guy has a very good heart. Now, as soon as Ernest comes home from there, the film reaches him and tells him that I want your robot. There is some important work. Ernest knows. It was said that there is a #1 crook in Fell. He will pretend to return the robot. That is why, friends, Ernest flatly refuses to give the robot. Also, friends, let me tell you that Fell and Ernest's daughter Mary are having an affair with each other. Ernest has explained to Mary many times that she should stay away from Phelim. He is not a good person, but Mary is not ready to listen. Because of Phelim, she has even started hating her father. Tell me, friends, parents are never wrong. Do bad things happen to children who don't listen to their parents? Maybe something bad happens to Mary too? Well, let's look ahead. In the next scene, Ernest is digging a hole at another place in the hope that maybe some water may come out from there, but due to the pipe laying of big machines, the entire surrounding area had become dry, hence Ernest has to face disappointment here also. While digging the pit, Ernest is talking to Jerome. He says, when I went to the city, I saw a girl who had short hair, but was very beautiful to look at. Son, you have grown up. If you say so, get me to talk to her. I don't know how long we will be able to survive in this condition, so, whatever moments we have left, we should live them well and friends, father and son talk to each other and spend some time together in a good way. After this, as soon as Ernest comes home, Mary tells him, I need money, Papa, I am going with the film, I am feeling very suffocated here. Ernest says, I am feeling suffocated, I have nurtured you since childhood, tried to give you everything, and still you are talking like this. Mary responds by saying that, we are not living here. We are surviving and I don't want such a life. Even after trying to convince Ernest, when Mary does not agree, Ernest locks Mary in the room and puts nails on the windows so that he can't meet Philam. Like Ernest is about to go to the city to get supplies when he realizes that the robot is missing. Seeing this, his condition gets worse and worried. He had understood that this work was done by someone other than Philam. Unable to do so, he immediately comes to the waterman from there to ask him whether Philam had come here or not, but as soon as he arrives there, Max and the other watermen together attack Ernest and start beating him fiercely. They say that you stole our supplies, which was our hard-earned money, which you might have sold somewhere else. Ernest says, hey, what are you saying? I myself came here to ask you what spread. My robot came here with this, or not, but on the contrary, you guys are killing me. Friends, Ernest had understood here. Surely Philam stole it from the city instead of giving it to the supplied man in my place and took it somewhere else. So friends, Ernest somehow gets rid of the waterman and goes out to find Philam, which he finds, and also Ernest becomes suspicious. It was also true that he was the one who had stolen the supplies, friends, from which he was eating and drinking very comfortably. So, Ernest scares Philam at gunpoint and starts taking him to the waterman to tell him that it was Philam who stole the supplies, not me. While moving ahead, both of them were very tired. Ernest was the most tired, and at the same time, his water was also over. That is why friends Philam tries to seduce Ernest by saying that he had drank some of the liquor from the supplies and there was some left. If you agree with me, then we both divide the remaining liquor and drink it. At the most, what will the waterman do? He will kill me, but if we don't drink, we will definitely die of thirst. On this, Ernest agrees, but as soon as he feels Philam frees Ernest from the ropes and attacks him himself, poor Ernest was already tired and, due to the beatings, he seems to be bleeding a lot. After this, Philam forcefully pours the rest of the liquor into Ernest's mouth. This is so that when the waterman sees him, he will believe that it was Ernest who had stolen the supplies and he was the one who drank their liquor. Not only this, friends, in the film, Ernest is beaten to death and tied up with a rope along with the robot. This is so that the world feels that the robot went out of control and attacked Ernest, due to which he lost his life, and the same thing happens. Poor Ernest gets killed. Friends, and everyone thought that the robot took Ernest's life. Friends always. Why do bad things happen to good people? In the next scene, Jerome is sitting very sad after losing his father. He is trying to break him by taking out all his anger on the robot, because right now he has accepted that the robot Nehi took his father's life, but we all know what is the truth. Then there comes Faram and says to Jerome, what will we get by breaking the robot? It will be useful to us in future, so don't break it and don't worry. I am here. I am your family. I will take care of you and me. I will also take good care of you. Tell me, friends, the murderer is trying to become a messiah. In the next scene, it is shown that Philam comes to Max and says that he needs a water pipeline so that with his help I can go to Ernest's land, so that I can do farming. Max says, am I your servant? Whatever you say, I will do it. Then Firm tells him, okay, you will have to agree. Friend, you will have to agree. He shows his knife to his friends and says, do you remember this knife? That day when it was supplied? Ernest had taken this knife from you when he attacked you, and I found this knife near his body with your name written on it. Everyone knows that there was a fight between you and him over supplies the night before he died. So what am I thinking? I decided to go and tell everyone that Max could not kill Ernest during the fight, but the next day when he got a chance, he killed Ernest and blamed the robot. Max gets scared after hearing this and starts the movie. Agreeing to this, he hides it from the company and gets a secret pipeline started in Ernest's farm. Due to which, friends, the farm starts getting water. Everyone is very happy that farming can be done here again. Friends, daily plow fucks to be able to grow crops. Within no time, his hard work pays off and crops start growing all around in the fields. Seeing which Jerome and everyone else are very happy. Also, Philam and Mary were in a relationship, due to which Mary had become pregnant. So both of them. The marriage is arranged. Phelim was very happy with the marriage, but deep inside he was also remembering that all this belonged to Ernest, which I snatched from him. Had he been alive today, neither he would have married Mary nor this farm. He gets the film after Ernest's death. Friends, he would have adopted all his things, but this person will not stop even here. Now you see his sins, how much he commits. In the next scene, some employees come from the bank and tell the film that the ground will slip from under its feet. But your crop has been harvested. Ernest had also plowed that land and he died. So now this land belongs to the bank and the crop grown on it will also go to the bank. The film says no, this cannot happen. You should have told me earlier, when there was no crop here at that time, and if you had told me earlier then I would have looked for some other land, but my friends at the bank did not agree. They said that if the money is not received within a week, then this land will be confiscated. Forget you. After saying this, he goes away. The film was already upset that Ernest had made a fool of me. Beggar Geika, let me fall to the ground. Tell me now, how will I be able to arrange the money? Tell me. Friends, this is the same thing. A thief in reverse. Scold the policeman. Well, now Phelim tells Jerome and starts taking the robot. He says, I am going to sell the robot so that I can repay the bank loan with the fair money. But friends, Phelim was not a decent man. He comes to Robbie only. Robbie, friends, who was very close to him, and he takes him along with him on the pretext that come with me. I will arrange water etc. for you. So poor Robbie goes with his child to the movie. But I told you, friends, movie, the pot of sins is not full. He fraudulently sells poor Robbie's child, from whom he will give the money to the bankers. Now as soon as Robbie gets the news of this, he tries to quarrel with Phelim. But where Phelim had sold the child, there is no role to fight etc. If the child is sold, then the deal will never be broken. Hence those scoundrels shoot and kill Robbie. Friends, they also try to shoot Phelim because they thought that Phelim is marrying Robbie's child with his permission. So, Phelim somehow runs away to save his life, and he also leaves Robert there because he also has to tell Jerome that this money will be given to the child. Not by selling, but by selling robots. What can you say, friends? What a bad man he is. In the film, that's why, friends, Ernest was refusing his daughter Mary to live with him. In the next scene, because of giving money to the bank, the land again belonged to Phelim. When it happens, the robot moves ahead to go to its rich tap owner because, when those miscreants were shooting Phelim and Robbie, some bullets also hit the robot. Due to which the robot's default the setting got turned on, and that is why he is going to his original owner who lives in the city, and the name of the owner is Calvin. As soon as he sees that robot, he gets completely surprised as to whose robot it is. It turned around and came back to me. Friends, Ernest's name was written on that robot. So, Calvin tries to contact Ernest through radio so that he comes forward and takes his robot back. Jerome is completely surprised. As soon as he turns on the radio, Fallon had said that he gave the robot a badge. Now, Calvin is telling that he has the robot. So friends, he decides that if Calvin wants to give the robot back, then no one. This is a very good thing. I will go and get it. In the next scene, Jerome sees Robbie's wife, who was shocked when Robbie and his child did not return. She takes a doll and waits for Robbie and her child to come. Really, friends, very bad with the poor girl. Seeing what happened, Jerome feels that there must be something that Phelim is hiding. After which he comes to the border of the city, but because he is under 18 years of age, the guards do not allow him to go into the city. A girl comes, whose name is Anna. She says to Jerome, come to me, I can send you to the city, that too for very little money. As soon as Jerome sees Anna in the money, he becomes absolutely stunned, because she is exactly the same as Ernest had told him about that girl with short hair. Do you remember, friends, when Ernest was telling Jerome that? Let's get married and talk to her. Then friends, Jerome again asks her about Ernest, but she doesn't know him. Jerome also doesn't say anything further to Ernest, and after that he hides Jerome in a luggage train going to the city. She makes him sit, and with her help, Jerome reaches the city. Now after reaching the city, Jerome meets Calvin, who returns his robot to him. Calvin had also repaired the bullets that had hit the robot, and he also made the settings of the robot. Then as soon as Jerome looks at the robot carefully, he realizes that it has a camera installed in it which records video with the help of laser beam. The video is not recorded clearly, but it is definitely so clear that he can be seen. And then in those videos, Jerome sees the moments he spent with Ernest, which were recorded by the robot. Friends, in the same video, there is also that video when Phelim was killing Ernest, and after tying him with a rope, the robot killed him. Seeing this thing, Jerome is completely shocked. He had come to know the truth that his father's death was not an accident but a well-planned conspiracy of the film. So he returns home with the robot, and as soon as he arrives, he does not tell Phelim that he has come to know everything, because if Mary comes to know that Phelim did all this, then she will not be able to bear the shock. On top of that, she is also pregnant. That is why Phelim makes a plan in Zero. Says, I heard on the radio that Robbie is calling you. Now Phelim is upset to hear that Robbie is dead. Which Robbie is calling you? So he says that maybe it must be another Phelim for whom he is calling Robbie. Now seeing the plan failing, Jerome writes a letter to Phelim so that Phelim feels that this letter has been sent by Robbie and he is calling him at the same place where Ernest died. Seeing the letter, Phelim had understood that something is wrong. He has to go there and see. That is why he goes to the same place where he had killed Ernest. While moving forward, he does not see the pit made on the ground and by mistake he falls into the same pit, where his leg was broken due to the fall, and when he is screaming for help, then Jerome comes there with a gun. Seeing him so angry, Phelim understands that Jerome has come to know everything and this whole plan was Jerome's. Then Phelim consoles Jerome and says, "Look, I am ashamed of what happened. Forgive me. But look how well I took care of Mary and you. If anything happens to me, Mary will not be able to bear this pain, so let me go." But Jerome does not listen to her, and goes straight to the movie. He shoots and kills the robot. After this, he also erases the robot's memory so that Mary would never be able to see all this. He does not want Mary to ever know the truth. A few days had passed and Mary was very upset when the film did not come home. What happens is that Jerome says that he was never a good person and he ran away leaving you. And hearing this, Mary becomes very sad and loses love for Phelim from her heart. On the contrary, she starts hating him. They peacefully took their revenge. After this, Jerome and Mary start running the house because they had got the farm and by selling the crops they will collect the money so that they can bring their mother home from the hospital. And with this mixed feeling, friends, this movie is here, but that's the end of the rest. If you like the video and like the explanation, then like it and subscribe the channel. See you in the next video. Take care, and finally, thanks for watching.